Hello, everybody. I hope that you're well. So, today I wanted to talk about the cycle of restoration. And it's a really interesting word, really interesting cycle. And actually, what is it? Um, as I've been doing more and more work with the bit in the middle, and I've been talking to more and more founders, different people around me about the bit in the middle and how we actually move through this season of life, this place that we might find ourselves in. I started to actually really think about, well, what is it? What actually is the bit in the middle and what's contained within it? And is there something practical here, right? Is there some practical steps? Are there practical actions? Or does this simply look different for everybody? Now, the beautiful thing about this is that actually the bit in the middle is very much a common place that you can find yourself in. And we find ourselves here over and over again as we move through life, as we build businesses, as we enter new relationships, as we make decisions that we want, about something different we might want to do in our lives. And a lot of people right now are finding themselves in the bit in the middle because they're realizing that the person that they were isn't quite who they are in this moment, but they're not quite ready or are where they should be or where they want to be going, right? So it's this like phase that's the bit in the middle. And as I've started doing deeper work into it and really kind of thinking about, well, how does this all kind of hang together? It dawned on me that this is actually very much around a cycle of restoration. And the reason I'm saying cycle is because actually nothing in life is linear. We don't really have a step one, step two, step three. We can jump from step one to step five, back to step three, back to step 10. From 10, we can go to eight, to seven, and so forth, right? So life isn't linear, and we also have many different streams in life. We can operate as many different things. We have many different interests. We hold different relationships. We have different desires. So we're always at one point holding many different things, which is amazing. I mean, that's what enriches the human experience, right? And so this is why I think things are very cyclical and much like the hero's journey, when we have this kind of like idea or we want to kind of do something or maybe change is actually being put onto us, we start our journey. We start our journey, we go through change, we change internally, things around us, outside of us can change, we meet different people, our beliefs, etc., are challenged, the stories that we share are challenged. And normally we always come back better off than where we started. There's always good. There's always good. And obviously finding that good depends on your lens and your perspective. And so I think a lot of people also talk about kind of like, well, we have the cycle and that's amazing. But then, are we returning back to ourselves? Is this what the bit in the middle is? And I was just really thinking about this word returning. And I was like, well, if we are returning to back to ourselves, does that mean that actually we didn't start as ourselves at the beginning of our life journey? And I don't think that's true. I think we came into this world and we have had the experiences that we have had. We were born into the families that we were born into, and we inherited the stories and beliefs as part of being born into that family and being brought up in that way. And probably if you were brought up by a different family, you would have different experiences and different beliefs, right? Because especially during the years of 0 to 7, it's very easy to imprint those beliefs and those stories onto us because we are wide open. And so I was thinking a lot about this kind of return to self and what is self. And I really started to sort of contemplate that. And so eventually I arrived at a place where I asked myself the question, if we let go of all of the beliefs that do not serve us, if we focus inward and we do the things that light us up, if we can learn to operate in a world where we can have balance, i.e., who we are and balanced with the world around us, different people we might meet, their belief systems and things like that, who would we be? And is that what we mean by self? And I think that is exactly what we mean by self. And so as a step up from that, I then start thinking, well, actually, return to self is really a restoration. Because actually, what we are doing as we go through life is that we have these beliefs and these stories and everything that are on us, which is amazing. And we would take action from those beliefs. We would take action from those stories, which is fascinating, right? But then and our environment will actually reflect all of those actions we have taken, those beliefs that we are holding, the stories that we believe to be true. And then as we go through life, I think we start to desire less or more. And actually, it's normally more for ourselves. And sometimes it looks like less of something else, right? And so we start to kind of look inwards and start going, well, what is it I want to do? Where do I want to spend my time? What do I want to build and create? Do I want to be more creative and try different mediums? Do I want to build a business to actually, as a kind of expression of my life? What is it I want to do? And I think more and more people are asking themselves this question more and more, especially now. And the era of personal branding and things like that have been waiting for this time because it's literally imploding on us at the moment. And you're seeing it everywhere, which is absolutely fascinating. And it is all to do with that as we go through life, what we tend to do is we hand pieces of ourselves outwards, right? So, for example, if we have a business, we will say to the business, well, you hold my stability and my security. And then we'll say to the business, well, now you need to generate money. And generate money means now you're going to also hold my stability and security, but you're also going to hold my worth. Okay. And sometimes as parents, we may accidentally hand over ambition to our children and say, well, actually, because secretly it's something maybe we wanted to do, so we encourage our children to go do it. So we hand over ambition to our children, right? We could, for example, hand over the responsibility of our health. Maybe it's to medication or something like that. And I'm not saying that it's not needed. I'm just saying that as we go through life, we take parts of ourselves and we hand them out. We hand out these pieces of the puzzle that is us. And we actually ask those things to hold these pieces. And this is why when we ebb and flow and maybe we get a bit stressed when money isn't coming in through our business, or maybe the visibility isn't quite like where we want it to be, it tends to be because we've asked social media to hold our visibility. Now, these are all external sources, and no wonder we then get tangled in a mess. We then get stressed. We then start worrying about things because we've now asked all of these different things to actually hold pieces of us. And so as we go through the bit in the middle, what happens is we start to reclaim those pieces. We start to actually say, you know what, I'd like that back. I'd like my power back. I'd like my visibility back, and I'd like to be more in charge of kind of how I show up, when I show up, how often I'm going to post. I'm going to choose the platform that suits me. My money. I'm going to actually understand now and really realize that actually resourcing and money is actually the way that I receive my capacity to hold more. So, how does money know that? How will money be able to manage that? No wonder it's been stressful for me because I've asked money to hold my worth. I've asked money to tell me when I feel worthy, when I have lots of money, and I've asked money to tell me when it doesn't have lots of money that I'm not worthy. When actually in myself, of course I'm worthy. Of course I'm valuable. And so this is why I think actually this is the cycle of restoration. Because as we go through this process of the bit in the middle, we then start taking these pieces back. We start to restore ourselves, restore our power so that we can not shine in the world, but that we can glow. And for me, that has been the most beautiful personal journey that I have been on. It is one of the journeys that I see many people that I'm working with on a one-to-one basis or through their businesses on as well. It is the thing that lights me up the most. And the most beautiful thing is we have modalities like belief coding, like human design, for example, like the nervous system work that we can do in terms of regulation, etc. And all of those things helps us to actually feel more us, to actually be able to hold who we are and be able to operate in the world and for that to be in balance. And in doing so, we claim back the pieces that we lent out, and often without even knowing that we've done it. So there you go. This is for today's episode. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please let me know if you've got any questions or comments. I would love to hear from you. Take care, and I send you much love. Bye.